Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to tonight's Attract Mode. I'm your host, Metroid Crime, and I am here today with PippyInATopHat.
Hello.
And today she is going to be speedrunning Signs of the Sojourner, and she's going to be doing the BeGayDoCrimes %. You want to tell us a little bit about your category and your game?
Yeah, so we don't really run any percent of this game. Any percent would be a little bit too fast. You can kind of opt out of every mission in the game. You can sort of just choose to fail at everything that the game sets out for you. So any percent isn't quite as interesting of a category. The typical category that I run most is called Caravaneer percent, which asks you to complete the initial quests set out by the game. But if you play it casually, you'll know that there's all these different characters who seem to have nothing to do with the initial quest of become a Caravaneer and save your hometown and all of that stuff. So, instead of just having Caravaneer percent, I've also started routing some of the other endings that you can get, where you basically say no thanks to all the mainline quests and instead decide to go off and have fun with a specific character or two. So this is the only canonical romantic ending that we'll be running today, and it is canonically gay, so perfect for Pride Month.
Yes, awesome.
Our goal is to elope with the love of our life, so it should be fun.
Definitely. Yeah, I have a few more questions for you, but we can get through it if you're ready to start.
Yeah.
You want to just give me a countdown here?
Sure thing. It actually does not start on start over. It starts on the green button. So,
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, and here we go.
Perfect.
So there's a mandatory tutorial here. We are children. This is me. I have cat ears. I don't know why. But this is my best friend, Elias. Elias is like our childhood friend. We know him really well. Talking to him is supposed to be really easy. So he's going to teach us how to make chains of shapes, just like that. So the left-hand shape on the card we play has to match the right-hand shape on the card that was played before. And as you can see, we have already messed that up. We have failed this conversation, we failed too many conversations, and now our mom is gonna come and scold us for bickering like children. That was all scripted. And is going to give us a little bit more opportunity to actually play the game. So as you can see, there are white squares and black squares at the top of the screen. The white squares are how many segments I have left to complete to succeed in the conversation. And the black squares are how many segments I can fail before I fail the conversation. And that's the tutorial. It was pretty quick. So this is a deck builder, so I'm going to be changing out the cards that I have in my deck and that I can use to talk to people. But it's also a little bit of visual novel. But all of the conversations are simulated by this sort of card game mechanic, which is kind of interesting and unique. It makes it for a little bit of a unique and interesting speedrun, personally, in my opinion. But as you can see, it's been 15 years, and my mom has passed away, unfortunately. And Elias and I are still friends, so we're gonna try to revitalize the town we live in, because a lot of the local economy was reliant on my mom's shop and business as a Caravaneer. And that also just introduced that mechanic where every time I finish a conversation, whether I succeed or fail, as long as my opponent played at least one card, I have to change out something in my deck from what they just played. So the way that we communicate is always going to be changing. And I have to think about that when I think about what my opponent is playing, and I can kind of manipulate what my opponent's gonna play. So we have this plan in the story that I'm gonna go and become a Caravaneer, and my friend Elias is gonna stay home and run the shop. So we're pitching that plan right now to Nadine, who's right here. And she is the head of the caravan, so we have to be on her good side, but we don't really. She's kind of great in that she really doesn't care what we say to her. This is the only conversation we have to succeed with her. we can just walk up to her and be rude and then walk away. It's pretty fun. But there's also this mechanic called an accord, which you might have seen there, that technically I did get a mismatch, but it didn't punish me. So an accord basically is if we have 4 of the same shape played in a row, which means I've played one of the like double cards, and so has the other person. And we're just gonna walk up to Nadine, initiate conversation, and then exit conversation as fast as possible, because we just need her to tell us where we're going. So we're just gonna be rude. Being rude is easy. Also, the game really wants me to go and talk to Tomas here. We don't need stuff. We don't need to save the town. We're out to find the love of our life. We don't need to save a town. So
yeah, we're on a mission of love.
Yeah, we're on a quest for true love and gay crime.
Yes.
And we actually just got the good RNG. I'm working on trying to figure out if there's possible ways to manipulate this, and it's a little bit inconsistent, but it's getting more consistent, which is a little weird. But this is Alexis, and Alexis is very important for this conversation and this conversation only. We're gonna talk to Alexis, and they're gonna tell us about how great their wares are. And then once we finish talking to Alexis, they're gonna be like, all right, we're friends. And so then we're gonna go about our merry way for the rest of the month, and we're gonna come back next month. And oh my god, Alexis is gonna have been robbed. But because we're friends, they're gonna confide in us about where the person who robbed them went. And that's information that we do need. So a lot of the routing for this category specifically is about managing where we can and can't go. This, by the way, is Ramir. We might talk to Ramir 1 or 2 more times based on how safe I want to be, but currently we're also just trying to convince Ramir that we're friends, right? So that Ramir will try to abuse our friendship by asking if he can catch a ride with us to Anka. And then we're gonna say, no, you can't. Sorry, guy. And the important thing is not that he told us how to get to Anka, because he actually didn't, but that he told us that Anka, as a place, exists. That's the only important thing. That's all we care about. So he's not gonna stop us and be like, hey, can I get in your truck? I really want to go to this city place. You know, there's a place over here. And we're gonna say, nah, get lost. And he's gonna be really salty about it, but we don't really care because, again, we're ignoring every quest line just so long as we can ride off with our bride-to-be. Right?
Nice. There's a question from the chat.
Yeah.
Are the cards that you're getting RNG, or are they preset?
They are all RNG. It's honestly one of the things that I really like about this game. It's really a test of how much you like RNG. Pretty much everything is RNG. You can sort of set things up to be as consistent as possible, but the cards that your opponent are going to play is always going to be randomized, and the cards that you pick up is always going to be randomized, and because it forces me to keep cycling through my deck, there really is no perfect RNG. Like, I can't just luck into getting the perfect deck, and it's gonna sail me through the entire game. In this category, it's a little less reliant on me constantly changing up my cards, but in Caravaneer %, the main category, my deck is always changing. So you never have the situation of like, oh, well, RNG was just really nice to me that run, so I guess I win. No, you're always sort of responding to it and making judgment calls about where you want to go and what direction you want to take your deck and how it's going to adapt to be useful to you next. Because we can see the future and we know who we're going to talk to, and thus we can just kind of update how we talk to work for the next place. This place starts to introduce there are now more shapes than there were before. But we don't actually care about the other shapes too much. We don't care about picking up items, because normally the game wants you to pick up items and travel around with like the caravan, meet people, gather items, bring them back, sell them in the shop. Our shop is gonna do terrible. And so normally, you know, you would want to succeed in the conversation to get the item that she would give you, but we actually just wanted a card that ended with that new color, that blue diamond, and that's all we needed from her. You also might have seen I have a different card in my deck now, this one that has no colors on it. That's called Fatigue. If you've ever played a deck builder before, that's kind of a cursed card. It's a dead draw, so nothing can match with it, and it's supposed to be useless and junk up your deck, and you accumulate them passively as you travel further and further from home. But since we kind of want to fail a lot of conversations as quickly as possible, they're actually a little bit helpful occasionally, because Nadine can't respond to that. It's basically flavorfully that instead of talking to Nadine, we just stood there and did nothing. So,
that's awkward.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like that. There is one other character who is okay with fatigue cards, and we will see him shortly. He's my favorite character, but we don't get to see him too much in this run. We'll see him in a few minutes. So this is the Stranger. The Stranger is a character that in-game they tell you not to talk to. Because it's impossible to win. There's no way I can have enough cards that he likes in my deck to talk to him at this point in the game. I would have to wait until later. But I ignored that and just wanted to pick up the card that he drops, because we're gonna try to manipulate Nadine's AI to force her to play a card that we want that'll help us later in the run. And now we're just saying hi to Elias. If I didn't take this conversation, Elias would come up and talk to me anyway, so it's faster to just initiate conversation myself. But he's just checking in, seeing how my first month with the caravan went, and technically, we did all the things we were supposed to this month. We were supposed to pick up 3 items, and we did. We actually only picked up 2, but Elias is cool and he's gonna fill us in. He's gonna give us the 3rd one because he knows that we're not trying our best here. So we technically did make the grade on this month. Don't get used to that. But Elias is gonna be happy with us. And Elias is very easy to talk to. He also has this card, which I picked up from him at the beginning of the game. He's the only character in the game who can have that other than you. It's called an Accommodate. As you can see there, it just mimics whatever the card was before it entirely. So if the card I had before it was a double card, so it has the same shape on both sides, there's my items, it's going to work no matter what the colors were, and I can use it to respond to people that I really don't have my deck tuned to talk to them. If I do a split card, which is the ones that have different shapes on either side before an accord, it will always fail, which also can be useful. As I said, failing fast is fast. We like that. But we're now gonna talk to Nadine, and Nadine is gonna be like, all right, you're going on the full caravan route this month. You ready? Because she sent us home early last month because the full caravan route is big and scary. And we're basically gonna say yes. Ooh, she did the thing we want her to do. That's the card that we wanted to manipulate her into playing. She's a little bit smart, and she knows that I normally shouldn't be able to respond to that card, so while she has it in her deck, she'll reserve from playing it. But we want squares. Squares will be helpful when we start to talk to Klaus. So we wanted her to play it, so by forcing the mismatch ourselves, so that's the only thing that she has that could match with the card that we played, we can get her to play it even though she normally would not. But that's good because we can pick it up, and that's great for safety in this category, and in all categories. It's honestly one of the best cards in the game. I hope I'm not moving too fast with commentary. This game is very odd and has a lot of odd things in it.
You're doing great. I'm following along. Hope y'all are following along. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to ask, and I can pass them along to Pippi.
Yes.
Oh, here's actually a question.
Yes.
Indy says, do you win new cards from these conversations?
So I'm picking up cards and putting down old cards. It doesn't matter if I win or lose at the conversation, as long as the other player played a card, I have to pick up something they played. So if they only played one card, that's the card that's going in my deck, and I have to pick what's coming out of my deck to make room for it. Because this game is about language, at its heart, and I highly recommend it as a just casual experience. I know a lot of people didn't hear about it when it came out. It came out in 2020. There was a lot going on, but this is a game about language, so each of the shapes that we're playing are supposed to be a different sort of tactic in conversation. The circles are supposed to be being observant or empathetic. Triangles are being diplomatic and logical. The squares that I need to pick up are being kind of forceful and forthright. And the one that we don't see a lot is the diamonds, which is being artistic and industrious, I believe. Creative and industrious. But as you can see, Alexis just told us where to hunt down the person who robbed them. And we've tracked her down, and here she is. Now let's fall in love with her. This is the goal. So, you also might see these cards that have a little symbol on them. That's essentially a card with text. So that one's called Chatter. It allows, if I play a card with Chatter, I get to play 2 cards in a row. If my opponent plays a card with Chatter, they get to play 2 cards in a row. I also have this one down here, which is called Reconsider, which allows me to shuffle away my hand, which I've done a couple times. Actually go out of our way to pick that one up because it's very nice to be able to get the bad things out of your hand. But now that we've met Klaus, we're gonna go home and sleep for the rest of the month. We don't have any other reason to be awake, apparently.
Time to hibernate, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, we've collected 1 item because we went to class and we were like, hey, Alexis wants their nuts back, and she gave us Alexis's nuts back, and then we didn't give them back to Alexis. Because that would require talking to them. This, by the way, is the only character in the game who is cool with fatigue. This is Thunder. He's a dog.
Aww,
we love him.
He's a cutie.
His cards match with literally anything in the game. And he now lives in our truck. And if you play the game casually, you can talk to him at various times throughout the game, and he'll actually make you feel less fatigued. He'll improve your deck, and sometimes he'll bring you items that are just things he found because he's a good boy. Unfortunately, we don't care about items, and we don't travel enough in this run for fatigue to really be a concern. So that might be the only time we see Thunder, but just know, when we elope at the end of this, we do bring Thunder with us. We are bringing Thunder along the way with us. So we have to talk to Nadine here because she's gonna tell us, hey, you didn't follow the caravan when I told you last month. You better meet us in Old Marais. And we don't actually care to follow the caravan again this month, but we do want her to tell us how to get to Old Marais because we do need to go there. But we don't actually care about following the caravan. I also take this conversation just for safety because we would like to pick up this card. These cards that have multiple different kinds of shapes on them are really nice because when I travel between areas that don't share the same type of language, I don't have to change them out as often, you know? They're a little bit more multi-purpose, which... you know, if we're going for world record attempts, maybe we could skip that one, but I would rather be safe than sorry. Don't want to just go be awkward to our future spouse, you know? And we are going to skip everything this month and just go talk to her because it might be a little bit weird. We know where she is. I think we might be a stalker. I'm just a little concerned.
To be fair, we do have like the ability of is foresight the right word?
I guess. Foresight, hindsight, whatever it is, it's 2020. Like we know exactly where she is. And Klaus is gonna say, hey, you see Matilda over there? The girl who sells the matcha? I wanna rob her. Will you cause a distraction? And we're gonna hear her out on this one. We're gonna think it over. And we're gonna not do it. Because Klaus doesn't actually care if we decide to do it or not. That's unfortunate. We do have to take a mismatch there, but we do have a little bit of leeway on this conversation. Oh, or we take a second one. There is a way to restart a conversation if a conversation really goes south. But we get the same RNG. It doesn't read seed or RNG, so if it was a conversation that was impossible to win before, we restart, but we both have the same cards in our hands and the same, you know, order to our decks, and if we were to shuffle, we'd get the same reshuffle, so it's not like it really changes anything. It's just kind of a retry. But now that we've talked to her, and we got to see Thunder there in the corner, we're once again gonna go home and take a nap. Really need a nap, apparently. We just woke up. We're taking a nap again.
Long day.
Yeah.
Long day of conversations.
Talk to like 3 whole people? That's a lot. That's a lot of people. See, this is the introvert run. The Caravaneer percent run, we have to talk to everybody and be such a people pleaser. Here, we found our buddy. We don't need anyone else. Like, whatever you need from me, make it quick.
We're on a mission.
Yeah. So, Elias is a little bit unhappy with us, because as you can see, our store is barren. We've collected nothing. We've done a very bad job at revitalizing the industry in the tiny town of Bartow, and also there's been a horrible earthquake, and everyone's very upset. And Elias is gonna tell us about the earthquake, and that's actually really good luck. We do want that card. That's a new card that's introduced in this month, called Distress. And it's kind of supposed to be like people from different places talk in different ways, but kind of everybody speaks the language of grieving, of being hurt. And so pretty much everyone who's been through a hard time because of the earthquake is gonna have a couple of distress cards in their deck, and we're gonna have to respond to them. And somebody who did have some unfortunate happenstances because of the earthquake is Klaus. So we're gonna go bust her out of jail, because it turns out when you run around robbing people, sometimes you get caught. That's unfortunate.
Weird how that works.
Yeah. But it's okay. This might be our only... Well, actually, we did kind of not give back Alexis's nuts. I don't know if that's a crime or just poor moral judgment, but this is gonna be our first our true crime is, we are breaking someone out of prison. But Klaus got a cool robotic arm, so, that's good for her, right? It's a fashion statement.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. She's actually talking about now, oh, and you can see that distress card I was talking about. She's actually talking about now that, she's blaming getting caught on her robotic arm. So, maybe form, over function on that one was a problem. Whoop. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's just kind of bad luck. But, regardless, we will survive this conversation. Do you have any more thoughts or questions on our lovely adventure?
Not really. I really do love how this game uses the theme of language to, like, it's such an interesting thing to have, like, the cards and, like, the different, like, not really suits, I guess, but the symbols mean different things. It's really interesting, and I really want to play this casually.
It's a really fun time. It takes a while to get used to casually. Like my first time, I first of all cried over some of the story elements. I'm sad to skip over a lot of the dialogue.
Yeah, seems very emotional, just from the glimpses that I'm getting.
Yeah. Luckily, because we skipped so much of this run, we also skip a lot of spoilers. So, we got some bad RNG here. So hopefully we can turn that around. And that'll help. That will help wonderfully. But yeah, as you can see, I drew 3 fatigue cards and a distress. And that's the card game where your hand is only 5 cards. That's a whole lot of things that aren't super useful. But luckily, that's pretty much all of the bad cards in our deck. So, we can kind of skate through on that. And we did want that. Now you see all of our beautiful cards that we worked so hard to get.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a very... Oh, just kidding. We're actually gonna restart this conversation because she decided that no, she didn't like that. So we're just gonna back out to the main menu and then restart it, and there we go. And we can just play things differently and see how it goes. Hopefully we can... I mean, we're gonna start out the same and then try to change gears. We can do this as many times as we want. So it's...
Yeah, like Pippy mentioned earlier, quitting out and coming back, it doesn't reseed the cards. So you have the same card deck, but the order that they come out in would be slightly different, I guess, depending on what you've picked.
Yes. So like if I play a different card, then the cards in my deck are going to be slightly different because when I reshuffle or something like that, it's shuffling different cards that are available because some cards are out on the table. So it will change little bits like that, but the initial cards are always the same. She is really being rude today. We're gonna... It's okay.
Perhaps it's to match how rude you have been to the town.
Yeah,
Payback.
you know, maybe she picked up on the fact that we've kind of just been ignoring everyone else in favor of talking to her.
Yeah, it's really interesting that I guess this run kind of is like the meanest version of, like in terms of like the complete opposite of what the game is about almost.
Yeah. Yeah, so my first time playing through, I failed at pretty much everything. And that looks better. Look at that. Look at that cooperation. We're working together. This is a partnership. We are trying to forge, Klaus. Thank you. Yeah, so my first time playing through, I failed at almost every mission because, like, you want to be able to talk to everyone. But it turns out that talking to everyone and pleasing everyone all the time, both in real life and in the video game, is kind of difficult. So you wind up getting to be really good friends with certain people and then getting to the next location and going, oh no, I can talk to nobody because I talk like people from Bartow, which is a tiny town in the middle of nowhere, where we're all very kind of casual and so we take time to consider things from each other's points of view. And now we're in Anka, where this is a city, that we don't have time for that type of thing. And like it's very sweet and kind of fun that the gameplay sort of also tells that story. While the text is telling you, like, hey, you don't talk like people from Anka, the cards are also showing you that. Our store is doing terribly. Just an update. Our store is doing absolutely terribly. It shows us the shelf again afterward because it's supposed to show who purchased all our products, but we have no products. So, no one purchased any of our products. But we did successfully bust Klaus out of jail. We met her in Anka, because as you saw earlier, I found out Anka exists from Ramir, and if I didn't find out Anka exists, then she wouldn't have been able to tell me how to get there, and I wouldn't have been able to meet her, and I would have been locked out of the ending, which is very unfortunate. So it's very important that we learn of the city's existence. But she said, hey, maybe the life of crime is a little bit much. Like, maybe I'm a little bit lonely. Maybe I could use a break from this life. Well, tell you what, mull it over and meet me at this location next month if you want to go on an adventure with me. And we want to go on an adventure with her. But we actually don't know how to get there right now. So I'm going to talk to this random old man, who we've never talked to before. And he is going to tell me that he has an old flame who he once loved, who lives at this place. And oh, if only, like, he could see her again and have another chance with her. So he's gonna tell us how to get there and ask if we can bring her back to where he lives and ask if she'll give it another shot with him. And we're gonna say, yeah, sounds great. And then we're gonna go there and meet Klaus and not pay attention to his friend.
As we do.
Yes, as
like a crime.
These are our crimes. They're very social crimes. But there we go. He taught us how to get to Long Gate. And we can pull in here, and we are now kind of at the edge of the civilized world. And there's his old flame. There's a just very interesting character. A lot of the characters who you meet towards the end of the game and are in certain endings but not others are actually very difficult to talk to. Your deck has to be very optimized in order to have a successful conversation with them. So we might be able to talk to him with this deck. Probably not, because we have a no blue. But he really wants you to kind of be able to talk to anyone. So it's convenient. We don't have to worry about him. We only have to worry about talking to Klaus this one more time, and our deck is asking me what waxing poetic about it's been a while, a partner to go on adventures with, and had a friendly face waiting for her. And it's all very sweet. And so she's asked us to think about it, and we're gonna not think and immediately just talk to her and be like, yep, sounds good.
Yeah,
get in my car. Yep. Definitely good way to make life decisions, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. This game teaches you very important, valuable social skills. But this is very close to the end of the run. As you can see, we're done with our final conversation. So we're just gonna get to see our outcome, that we drive off into the distance together. And that's time.
That's time. Perfect.
Yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed eloping with a criminal. Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Yeah, this was excellent. What made you want to speedrun this game specifically?
I really enjoyed it casually. My sibling was actually the one who found it, and was like, oh, this game's interesting. Like, you need to play it. And I'm very interested in video game writing, so I loved it casually, and I played through it over and over again to try to get some of the different endings, and I realized, like, sort of the strategy to it. And then months later, I was like, you know what? I kind of want to get into speedrunning. But I'm too scared to pick up, like, one of the big games that has a huge community behind it and is really optimized. And my sibling was like, hey, you got pretty good at that card game conversation thing. see if it has a speedrunning community, and it didn't at the time, so I decided to sit down and route it all myself.
That's so awesome.
And
it's really cool that it's also like your first speed game, and you've also done all the routing for it and everything. That's really cool.
Honestly, don't regret a moment of it. Highly recommend it. I feel like I'll bring back the lovely music, because we didn't even get to talk about the art and the music in this game. Is wonderful. But I really feel like anybody can speedrun if you want to, and I kind of had to learn that the hard way. So if you want to try something, pick whatever game you're happiest with and give it a go and see how you like it.
Absolutely, yeah. Just best thing to do is just get started. Just pick a game and go for it.
Yeah.
You won't know until you've played it like a few times whether you're actually gonna like it. So just get started. But yeah, is there anything else? Is there anything you'd like to shout out? Are you appearing on any events coming up you'd like to talk about?
Well, my voice will be, my visage will not. But I will be hosting for SGDQ in about a week and a half. So I hope that everybody will be able to tune in and watch some of that. But I'll be hosting for 4 different runs. I'm really excited for all of them. There's some games in there that I've never heard of that I'm going in super blind, and some games that are very near and dear to my heart. And I feel very honored to get to be a part of them getting shown off at SGDQ. But also, as was said at the beginning, this community is very small for Signs of the Sojourner. We do have a guide written for the Care of a Near Percent route, as well as I will be writing a guide for this route as soon as I'm sure that the route's not going to find any other major changes, because the last time I sat down to like grind through runs, I think we cut off 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
very much still growing and changing, but if anybody enjoyed this and thought it looked like fun casually, I definitely recommend it from a casual standpoint. And if you want to try your hand at speedrunning a card game, go for it. It's an awesome time. And I would love to help in any way I can.
Awesome. And where can we find you? You stream on Twitch?
I stream on Twitch. I am PippyInATopHat on Twitch, and that's really the only place where I'm active on social media. So
Awesome. So everyone pop over there. There's a link in chat. Give Pippy a follow. And thank you again so much for appearing on Attract Mode. It was awesome to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for tuning in.